basically since I started
Okay.
Overwatch 2.
Okay, makes sense. So what kind of made that transition for you? Like, I'm gonna take this seriously now. Like, is it just that you enjoyed the game more, or what specifically?
That's a good question. I think it's part of my sort of I don't want to say mental growth necessarily, but just
Ah,
part of me just trying to embrace learning a bit more instead of it being frustrating. It's cool to
uh-huh,
learn a new skill,
uh-huh.
and it's sort of like it helps me grow, I guess, in a cliche way. It's nice to learn
Yeah,
something and
yeah,
sort of
yeah,
apply that skill. Uh, that can, for me, it's either sort of Overwatch or it can be like workout or training as well, or
yeah.
other skills.
Yeah,
So
makes
yeah.
sense. Makes sense. So you said you'd played. Maybe we'd worked together before in the past. Maybe you were on a different Discord account or whatever.
Maybe yeah, that's a while back. I think Loki got me into this also a bit, so that's partially why I'm
Got it. Got it.
yeah
Got it.
further
Okay.
down the
Okay.
tournament.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So let's talk about then. So came back into Overwatch 2, took it a little bit more seriously. What made you transition to PC? You said.
Yeah, I played the first one I played on PS4 for I guess for as long as it lasted. Basically, I had some off sort of like some periods where I just didn't want to play because I was sort of mentally drained by it.
Sure.
But it was never unfun. So it was always a fun game to play. And when Overwatch 2 launched, I was like, oh no, I can't get back into this. It's just going to be as taxing as it was last time. But I was like, okay, maybe play on PC. Maybe actually be able to apply the mechanics I want to be able to apply with like mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
But that's mostly it. Mostly just to be able to play the game more fully in
Yeah,
a way.
yeah. I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, it's definitely the console is definitely more casual. I mean, the transitioning from console to PC is generally, in my experience, has been very smooth for most players I've worked with. So,
Yeah.
it's not like there's anything wrong with the type of player that plays console, of course, but it just there is more of a ceiling, and the other thing as well is it's like the ceiling in console, as I'm sure you're well aware, is like really cruddy, because the Zimmers just kind of ruin everything. So like it's just a lot more frustrating than it would be in a PC. Okay. So looking through here, and you are a support player. Now, how long has that been the case?
I think I've been support for my entire Overwatch career, basically. So since first one, then 5 years, 6 years,
Okay.
or whatever it is.
Okay. Okay. And why is that?
Nah, that's a good question. I just got into it. I enjoy the aspect of looking at the game in a meta sense, and I enjoy the aspect of being sort of the connective tissue of a team or a team play,
Sure.
which is definitely the support role in a way.
Okay.
But I've played other roles as well, but support is definitely my mainstay
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. For me, support was like being able to support my team, but actually able to make plays of my own. Like
Yeah,
I played more of like I played like an MMO years ago, and I was like more of the support guy. But I never was like the healer guy. I couldn't. I was so boring, right? I was all like
mm,
the enabling and the crowd control and the debuffing and buffing and that kind of a thing. So then, like when I'm playing support, on a Zen immediately, right? And then the
yeah,
nice thing about Overwatch and Overwatch 2 is it's like even heroes like quote unquote Mercy Moira, there's still a lot, and you still need to be leveraging a lot of their utility and their support stuff besides just the healing. So, okay.
yeah.
What do you hope to get out of the session? Both correcting my micro plays and understanding the larger picture, especially when it comes to compositions. Okay, makes sense. That's an interesting way of putting it, though. Micro plays, understanding the larger picture when it comes to compositions. So the compositional point, I think. What prioritizes compositions for you?
Oh, I'd say mostly when I look at a team composition, I mostly look at the tank
Mm-hmm.
before I pick, or I guess I usually pick Ana most of the time these days, anyways. But in theory, I would look at the tank and then sort of be the last person to pick
Right, right, right.
their hero just to
Okay.
sort of fill out the team.
Right. That's what I figured because I'm looking at your hero pool here and it's expansive. So I imagine that you're using that compositional analysis to kind of help you decide what to pick. And then therefore you
Yeah,
want to be able to understand those picks better. Okay, that makes sense.
yes.
Okay. Keep going here. I'm quitting your antidepressants. LOL. How's that gone?
It's gone better than last time, so I'm pretty happy
Okay,
about it.
good. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Uh,
Glad to hear that. What do you feel is going to improve? Long term, short term. So long term, you want to rank up. Short term, understanding the macro plays. It says you're plat currently at the moment.
Nah, that was when I submitted. And then I bumped up to Diamond 2, and then
Okay.
I got back down to Diamond 4. I think
Okay.
I am
Makes sense.
on that now.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, so let's talk about your training schedule first before we talk about your hero pool. So, training schedule right now. About how much on average do you play per day?
Per day. I guess if you were to even it out, I guess it's an hour per day because you got those sort of larger chunks during the weekends
Okay.
and maybe some. So I guess an hour per day if you were to sort of take the average.
Okay, an hour per day, 7 hours per week. Okay, so I think if we were to min max your training time, I think we could maybe bump you up to with 7 hours a week. We could probably keep you in diamond or maybe even put you in higher diamond because clearly you've gotten there, right? You're doing something right, obviously. Part of that might have been your Overwatch 1 experience. It's giving you a leg up over all the crusty noobs that are coming in. They don't have no idea what they're doing. But I do think that it's going to be trickier, depending on how intense that you're able to practice, for you to be able to rank up beyond much more than diamond. Now, I might be wrong, especially with the way that the SR inflation is working in Overwatch 2, where there's just so many newer players that it's a lot easier to get better. Maybe you're able, but I think long term, like I'm talking like a year from now, it might be difficult to even be able to move or beyond or stay beyond diamond with the current amount of time that you're playing. Kind of sucks, but that's just unfortunately how it is. So that being said, we can definitely take the amount of time that you're training right now and make it of a higher quality, right? And I think obviously that has to be the goal. So we'll put priority on that. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. And it's not like maybe it's an hour, on average. But if you were to count it out, if I play like 4 or 5 hours a Saturday and a Sunday, suddenly you have 10 hours, right? But it's all about optimizing the time you actually do spend gaming. So
of course. Of course. And then that's the trouble with the weekend thing too, because even if you do optimize the training in the week and you dump a bunch of hours in the weekend, that's not going to be able to compensate because you're only going to be able to train intensely, even if it is on the weekend, for a couple of hours. So that's why it's like you can't compensate by like, oh, I'm gonna play Overwatch for like 6 hours or 5 hours. It ain't gonna compensate for the amount of time that you're missing elsewhere.
Can't stay focused for that long anyway.
No,
so,
exactly.
Also a problem or a. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So there's only so much more like catch up that you can get on. But I mean, playing does help. So I'm not gonna tell you it doesn't. And then the other thing here is, because we're just the bearer of bad news today, and I'm sure you're well aware of this, your hero pool is a problem when it comes to ranking up. It's something that you can definitely leverage to be a positive, because being able to pick a lot of different supports in a lot of different situations is going to give you an advantage in situations in certain maps and certain compositions 100%. However, it's going to be equaled and also overweighted in the opposite direction in terms of a disadvantage, simply because you have to understand that your ability to perform at a macro level comes so much down to hero comfort and repetition. And heroes like Brig, Lucio, Bap, Zen, Mercy all have the same goal of contributing to the team fight, but then how they do those things with their cooldowns, their mechanics, and the positioning is leagues apart, right? So let's focus on the positives. Like I said, you can play a lot of different heroes, and so a lot of different situations, you can pick the best hero for the best situation. That's a positive. The other positive is, and I'm sure what initially got you there in the first place, is it's just fun to play a lot of different heroes. Am I wrong?
Yeah. No, it's a good point. It's fun to be flexible. I will have to say that I've been mostly playing Ana since Overwatch 2 though, so that's definitely sort of like a mainstay. So maybe I wrote everyone down, but it's mostly Ana. These days at least, yeah.
Okay. Well, do you have your Overwatch pulled up right now?
I can open it.
Because we can talk about theory, but I might want to look at your career profile the last several seasons, even if there aren't a ton of hours in it, just out of curiosity.
Yeah. I also did. I watched a lot of your videos about theory and VODs and all
Good.
of those vids already. So in a way, I won't say I know what you're talking about or I know the game by any means, but I definitely watched your stuff a lot.
Right. Well, it means I don't have to
Um,
sit here and explain too much to you. You can just kind of look at what you got and figure out what
hopefully,
to do, right?
hopefully. So I guess I should just share screen,
Yeah, that would
obviously.
be easiest if you can.
Yeah, share screen. Uh, why isn't it showing?
Can you do at the
Why
bottom
is
left where
it?
it says voice connected? Might be able to stream Overwatch there.
Oh yeah, wait. Of course, share screen, stream. Try to get like this maybe. There we go.
Nice. Yes. Good.
Career profile.
All right. Let's look at this. Okay. Honor
Ooh.
man. Okay. And then previous season.
Let's see.
Okay. And then I guess when did you start like trying to like take things seriously? Was it this season here or was it season before or what?
Really hard to tell. I was pretty frustrated for a while getting placed in like silver early on. And
Yeah,
it's
I mean
like,
everybody got terribly placed.
yeah, and I was
early
like,
on,
oh
yeah.
shit, I didn't know I was this bad because I was diamond on console, but I guess I wasn't. But I'm pretty happy that I at least got into diamond
Okay.
now.
Well, let's look at the current competitive season because obviously that's going to be, I'm sure, as you kind of gone along, you figured things out a little bit better. So, looking at this here, obviously the amount of time played is pretty bad. Even though the season is relatively new and you're only able to put in 7 hours per week, we would want to see more than where you're at right now. Welcome to the club. So, pull this one up here. So, I would love to see something like you to pick, I mean, you know the routine, pick 2 or 3, maybe just 2 in your instance, and to shift some of those minutes, even if it's just a defense as Zenyatta, put it on BAP, you know what I'm saying? Or vice versa. Why play a game of Mercy when you could have played another game of Brick, right? I think for you it's like finding that balance between playing what's fun for you, but also trying to make sure that you are trying not to split it up too broadly, I guess. Because you're right. I love the Ana hours right now, and at least the Ana ratio, okay? But there is a lot of minutes that are kind of accumulated on other heroes that just don't feel like super efficiently well placed. And even though it's not like that, they're not doing that many minutes. If you go back to the previous season really quickly, this is a little more concerning, right? Where you start to see the Kiriko, Bap, Brig, Mercies, and the other hours do tend to stack up a little bit more.
I would have to say, though, I've been mostly, ever since I've started Overwatch 2, I've been mostly going to quick play as sort of my main sort of thing.
Right.
And then I basically only started playing comp, I guess, last season, if I'm to be honest. I mostly quick play just to get into shit, and that's why all the hours are sort of stacked. But this might be from Overwatch 1 as well, or it can't be. It would be much more. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely something that you're gonna want to improve moving forward. More competitive hours, fewer heroes, a little bit more consistency. Because if you were able to consistently get those 7 hours in, and like let's say including warm up, 6 of those hours. And not including queues, let's say 5 of those hours per week. I mean, what is this? Is this like week 2 this season? Something like that?
I don't know. I can never keep track.
Something like that. But these hours should be almost double what they are right now, right? So just something to kind of keep in mind as much as you can. And the thing is like as well as like you gotta like you have a lot of hours in competitive, so you're not exactly shocked by this, but you gotta treat competitive like it's quick play. You really do. You just gotta go in there. You just gotta play the game, have fun, go next. Like queue with friends, queue by yourself, doesn't matter. Play the heroes that you need to practice, and then just go on. But it simultaneously needs to be taken a little bit more seriously with your hero pool, but then just playing it less seriously just for the fun, you know. I don't know. There's nothing really new here that I can't imagine that you were expecting me to say already, but I'm going to say it because it needs to be said. So
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions then? I guess probably not.
No, I didn't really picture that to be a topic, but that's basically because I've just play Ana these days, so it's
Right. So I guess for you, it's more of a just make sure that that's what continues, right? Or if you decide you get bored of Ana and you want to play Brig, I'm totally cool with that. Brig Mercy, go with it, but just don't.
Yeah.
We want a hero pool, not a hero ocean.
Makes sense.
Okay. And I know for me personally, I get bored nowadays playing too many not enough heroes. So I do the one trick Andy thing. I like one trick a hero for a week, and then I one trick another hero for a week, and that's just kind of fun for me. Wouldn't necessarily recommend that to rank up, but hey, at least I give myself time to like actually learn or improve at the hero as opposed to just playing like fruit medley. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you feel is holding you back from improving? You say all of those mentioned above, which I assume is the compositional stuff, understanding the micro plays. But first and foremost, my understanding of the game in a meta sense. Now, what do you mean meta sense?
When I say game in a meta sense, I've always struggled to sort of understand why a pick is meta or why a composition is meta. You watch the pros,
Sure.
and it's like, oh, this is meta. And then suddenly they whip out Junker Queen, and I was like, I'm confused now. Wasn't this not meta? And the same when I do my picks in Spawn, it's like, I think Ana is good. That's sort of like, it seems to be, the statistics is on my side. But I don't necessarily understand why she is great or good against or with someone compared to the other team. What do I really counter?
Right.
Why shouldn't I play Ana?
Right.
Vice versa.
Well, you have to be careful with the meta thing, because a lot of what makes stuff meta in the Overwatch League is almost completely irrelevant in lower ranks. So you bring up Junker Queen, right? Did you see the Junker Queen video I did yesterday, or day before yesterday? Excuse me.
No.
Shame on you. No, I'm just kidding. But basically, I just found it funny you brought up the Junker Queen thing. So the Junker Queen thing is because of the Winston matchup specifically, right? And it's also only played in some specific maps. Now, I don't think in Diamond, being worried about the flat maps versus Winston matchup is probably much of a priority for you. And the Moira is something similar as well. So a lot of what made that hero popular in the Overwatch League is because there's a lot of Winston Sombra Tracer dive, right? Which I doubt is the meta composition necessarily in Platter Diamond. Problem with focusing on meta is everything is meta in lower ranks. Everything. Now, there are heroes that are more popular, but if the goal as a lower rank is to improve, it doesn't. I wouldn't say this. Not everything is meta in lower ranks, but it doesn't matter what's meta in lower ranks. Let's put it that way. You can climb with everything. Now, what you can learn from pro meta is if I were to tell you Junker Queen is meta because of the Winston. Okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that you should be playing Junker Queen. But if you are a Junker Queen player, you might learn that, oh, yeah, actually that matchup is good. That's good to know. I need to be, when I'm playing versus Winston, I need to be poking him out more. So you use the meta, what you know about the meta, to educate your playstyle maybe a teeny tiny bit, right? So for you, Ana, kind of meta. Why is Ana meta? Well, because she's got good range. Nade is still very applicable, very powerful. Nano's a good ultimate. So use that knowledge and use that information as you will, right? Ana's more meta than Kiriko has been in the past because the range of Ana has been counteracting the Kiriko utility as Kiriko has gotten nerfed more. Make sense?
Yeah.
So that's really all the meta knowledge that you need. And you don't even need that meta knowledge to tell you that you can climb the top 500 one-tricking Ana. You know? True. So just be careful with that. Be careful of that. Instead of focusing on like understanding the meta sense as much, focus instead on what do I need to be getting better at? What can I do more with my hero? What pressure can I do? What offensive opportunity can I do with my hero? Because obsessing on a meta that will constantly change is probably not that helpful. And I can also straight up tell you right now that your complete meta ignorance, you suck, you don't understand anything, is probably already a lot better than most folks. I'm not going to tell you. I'm gonna tell you right now, like the fact that you're even thinking about your lack of meta knowledge probably already means that you have more meta knowledge.
I'm really into like the Overwatch League, and I watch most matches, and I watch a lot of your videos. I'm definitely trying to apply myself to this knowledge.
So you've got the imposter syndrome, where you're starting to learn knowledge, and you realize that I'm a complete jackass. I know nothing. But the fact that you're at that stage means that you're already ahead of other people. The danger is that ignorance. I wouldn't say necessarily discourages you, but distracts you from what's actually important. Not necessarily at your rank, but just distracts you from what's just important, period. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of the analysis I do is geared more to understand what the pros are doing and why the pros are doing it, not necessarily even for what you need to be doing in Plat, Diamond, Gold, Grandmaster, Top 500. And if there is something applicable, it's more about the fundamentals of team play that are generally applicable. Like hero picks in particular are something that's not very relevant. You could learn a lot from my pro analysis in terms of like timing and off angles and like what this hero is good at. But in terms of why so-and-so is meta, ironically, it's one of the least useful things that you could pick up from one of my analysis. It's one of the more interesting ones. It's definitely one of the more fun ones. It's one of the ones that I like thinking about because it's fun. I mean, I made a video on it for crying out loud, right? But is it applicable? I mean, not really.
No, but I'm also in meta in the sense of what should I pick in this composition against.
Right. But even then, the answer is what you want to play.
Even if I have a Rhine and I want to play Brig Mercy.
I mean, you picked about the worst possible matchup. So But even then, I would rather have a player confident on Brig than a player not confident on pocketing as a Reinhardt.
Yeah. Okay.
Really, truly, But I hope that kind of makes sense. And, if there's an outlier where, like, Ana's really just not, working, this is double sniper, and we're playing, Winston, I might want to go, or, like, Ball, right, I want to go something else, that's fine. You do have a lot of the supports you could pick. You could pick the one that you want to play the most, or you're most confident on, that's fine, too. But, yeah. Sleep looks pretty good. Do you have any other questions?
Not before you watch something, I think.
Okay. Which code do you want to start with here?
Oh, well, it's interesting because first off, I played with Varashi the other day, and
I'm sorry to hear that.
He needed someone, so I know. But we played a couple of games where it was like, oh, the feeling was good. We played all right. We still lost. So that's the first code, well, Havana.
Yeah.
And then I watched another VOD from what's his name? Is it Awkward, the Ana player?
Yeah.
And then I tried applying what he said about flanking, or not flanking, but widening angles.
Putting pressure, right? Stuff. Yeah.
Putting pressure, yeah. So the first one is probably a bit more before. It's definitely a before and after video. So if we could take a look at both in a way, it would be nice. But it's obviously whatever you have time for.
Sure. Okay. So which one do you want to start with? Let's just put it that way.
So if we start out with Havana, then
let's do it.
You can definitely. I watched it earlier.
Perfect. Let me get this started here.
Let's see here.
Like the name, Badger Bro. What's the origin of Badger Bro?
I like badgers, and
nice.
It had to have.
They're pretty beastly animals. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Am
I supposed to watch your stream now, or
yes?
Vice versa?
There should be a stream through Discord.
Where am I? Why am I stupid? Stop streaming. Yeah, sure.
Okay, try this now. Anything?
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Here we go. Cool.
So, I'm not a big fan of Awkward's unranked GMs, but I do definitely agree with his takes on Ana as a whole. And I think the idea is that you need to be outputting as much pressure as you possibly can. And the way that pressure looks could be either a kill threat directly onto the enemy team, or by enabling one of your teammates to put more kill threat on the enemy team. For example, if your D.Va's 1 HP, it's a 4v5, right? So you need your D.Va to remain full HP or close to full HP so that it is a 5v5 so that she can kill the enemy team. However, the catch is that a lot of Ana players put a lot of attention on trying to only keep their teammates full HP. And by only doing that, the irony is that it is now a 4v5 because you're only doing half of, at least, like maybe even less than half of what you can be doing with your shots, with your nade, with offensive sleep dart, and so on. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I think that will be a bit more clear if you watch this video first and then
Sure.
the other one.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. Now, transitioning into more an offensive mindset is very tricky because you need to be able to put out as much pressure as you possibly can without dying. So I look at the enemy composition and I'm like, oh, let's just scope out. Let's put some damage out, right? But what's the problem with that? Obviously, look at the composition.
Yeah.
All right, you're gonna get your head blown off. So if you want to put offensive pressure out, how do you need to put out offensive pressure? How do you need to position versus this comp for you to be able to do pressure? Because you need to do pressure.
Yeah.
So what do you do? How do you position?
Well, I started off high, but then I don't dare to peek because Widow.
So where do you go?
So it's exactly where do I go? And initially I'm going to drop, and then if I were to just like think before and after, I would definitely sort of stay to the right, sort of behind my tank, if you will.
Sure.
But I think in this instance, I actually try to go a bit left to have at least some angle on whatever I can shoot, even though they still have the Widow. So it's dangerous, but at least I can have some pressure to the left.
Right. So we want to try to avoid the longer sight lines if we can, but still be able to put out good offensive pressure. And the nice thing about Ana is that a decent burst of your offensive pressure are your sleep dart and your nade, neither of which take very long to use. So you don't have to take a long sight line to shoot, and risk getting peeked by Widow. You might just play defensively, find an opportunity to swing wide on a flank or an angle to shoot a nade or a sleep dart, and then that's a huge chunk of your offensive value right there. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you don't have to necessarily stay and aggressively roll the die. Oh, well, that Widow hit a shot, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So be very careful about that, even though his peak's right there. But like right now, for example, you know that Widowmaker cannot peek you right now, right? At least for a few seconds. So what should you do?
If she can't see me, I should go to the left, and I do. But I'm still afraid she might shoot me because I don't know exactly where she is.
Right.
But I still go. I at least try to go left.
Right. I mean, maybe not even left here. Just peeking off of this right pillar, like here, somewhere here, and shoot the Sigma, right? Even that would be better than what we're doing right now. Because right now, our Diva needs healing, but she needs basically no healing. So right now, this is a little bit risky. I understand why you're doing it, because your Diva's in, but just be careful. That's a nice lamp from your back. Good sleep. Hit that nade. Nice. And then now, is this position very safe for you?
If I was aware of where the Widow was positioned, I would have known, but I don't know where she is.
Right. So that's the priority,
it doesn't feel
right?
safe.
Right. So then where could you go to still put out pressure, but increase your chances or decrease your chances of being shot by Widow?
Well, I need to have cover either at this pillar or another. I still think I have the trying to apply the mindset of taking wider angles, which I said like it will be more apparent in the next video, I feel. But so it's still the should I just go to the right and be super safe but not really do much pressure, or should I stay to the left and maybe be able to hit something?
Right. And I think try pushing your limits is always good. However, I will say that if you're here, you can still pressure even here, right? You can still pressure, even if it's just Sigma and Sigma Shield, but you're not peeking Widow while you are pressuring.
Yeah.
You kind of see what I'm saying? So I think the idea of swinging wider angles is generally good, just not going to be so good when you're playing into a Widowmaker or an Ashe or a Hanzo or something like that. Now, if this was a Tracer or a Genji, this angle right here would be great, right? This angle right here would be great. Nice long snipe. You got a sniper rifle for crying out loud, but sometimes people have better sniper rifles than you. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Heck, even here, shots on, like for example, if you wanted to pressure here, you should be shooting Soldier, right? Because you don't have to peek the Widow to shoot the Soldier, right?
Yeah.
Good try of the sleep. Widow is now dead, so now you can ego however you want. You can just pick the long sight line that you want. That nade, obviously a little bit rushed, doesn't really hit anything. Let's get some pressure out. I want you to walk, not walk directly forward, but like let's find an angle here, right? Your D.Va's feeding, you need to be trying assisting that if you can.
Yeah, it would have gotten me killed, most likely though. Or
Maybe.
Did you mean retreat, or did you mean walk forward into that?
Well, you tell me. What would have been optimal here? So your D.Va's pushing.
Yeah.
You need to help, right? Otherwise, this fight's lost. So what would be the best way to help with the minimal risk?
My mindset back then, and now it's like I'm not going in there just to get killed myself. So I honestly don't know what to do with this.
Well, let's think about it. Because now, sometimes, like let's say this is a Winston with Primal Rage or a Tracer with E-Recall. If they go in, they can get out, right? And you can't. You know that your D.Va is cooked here, though, right? So you're going to lose this fight. Unless you do something. So you're like, well, I don't know what I would do because I'm not in the habit of thinking about it. Well, let's get in the habit right now. What are some ideas? Because I don't think there is any one right answer. So what are some ideas?
I have my cooldowns, which generally means I can be more aggressive or have like an exit.
Sure.
So I could definitely try to sleep that Sigma by going a bit forward.
You could. You could also swing left and duel the Ana.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm down with either of those things. If the D.Va dies, the Ana dies too. Or you could go in and try and save your D.Va by punishing the Sigma, right? I'm a fan of either of those ideas.
Yeah.
So obviously you're going to need the practice to be able to not only think like that, but actually execute like that. But we're at least moving in that direction. That's what we need to practice. Nice. Nice.
Yeah, and then you can't shoot him because of the...
That's all right. It forces him off the pedal. Prevents him from doing damage. It's a good nade. Now, get that nano, and then now what do? You hear, the fascism or whatever it is in French, So, you don't want to peek the Widowmaker, but is there something else that you could be doing now that you're nanoing right now? You don't need to heal your D.Va.
Well,
what can you do?
I want to keep her alive, but I also have the bop. I guess now I could swing left.
Sure.
To actually get an angle on something.
Sure.
That shield is pesky though, but definitely.
It is, but you know what? You can break it.
Oh, you can.
You can. All right. Oh. I mean, it's 75 damage per shot. It might as well. Oh. Like if you're thinking about this right now, what's the best thing that I could do right now? Okay, I can't peek the Widowmaker. That's annoying. I'd like to shoot Soldier or Honor or Sigma, but the shield's in the way. Okay, shoot the shield. Break the shield.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good pressure.
It's going to happen now. I'm going to go left. Yeah, there we go.
There you go. Now the shield's not relevant, so just shoot the Sigma. Keep putting up pressure. That nade's a little goofy. That sleep is also a little goofy. But we have many opportunities to put a little more offensive pressure here. Nice nade. Just poorly aimed, but the idea is there. Soldier. That's okay. That's okay. The idea was there. Ah, that one almost hit.
Yeah. And I'm at this point. I'm like the soldiers there. I'm pinging him, and I'm just waiting for someone to do something because he's still there. Or he's out now. But
good nade. As long as you don't have to peek the Widow too much for it. Nice sleep. He's dead. Oh! Oh, no. Get him. Ah. I mean, he's nano.
He got up there with the pedal. I remember this play. Just somebody was up there with a nano visor. It was a pretty good play for me.
It was pretty good. You might need to nade this. I don't know if you touch now. Good sleep. Okay. Careful about the Widow. Let's swing left. Let's make a play.
Yeah, which I don't.
Yeah. For you, it's about okay, the reason why we're talking about rotating there is because the Widow is peeking that angle, so you can't just sit there and do nothing. You need to find a way to contribute something healing or damage-wise, and that's probably going to mean rotating. A lot of what that rotation or offensive movement will do is will keep your life alive. Keep your life alive. Will help you keep your life, help keep you alive, but will also allow you to do things more offensively. Nano this, nice. Get her out of critical and then do something offensive. Oh, that shield is brutal. Wouldn't have dropped there.
Yeah, that's why I dropped. I don't think I would have had to drop, but I did so anyway.
But then that would be a situation where if that's in the way, fine, break it. Break the shield.
Yeah.
It's not a Ramatra shield. It's not going to be, you know, there for forever and then gone. You know, it is breakable. Now, are you in a good position right now to output a lot of pressure onto the enemy team?
Good question.
It's tricky, isn't it?
It is tricky because the Widow is always sort of the... If you don't know exactly where she is, you feel that you're in danger everywhere, right?
Where do you feel that she is? Use your spider instincts here, because I don't know where she is either.
I think she's still main in that hangar upper level.
So then rotate where? For you?
I don't. I wouldn't want to rotate if I already have the high ground, I think.
But you can't even peek here without peeking the Widow, no?
No, but I can pressure the right side though when they push there.
What if they don't push there?
That's a good point. I guess I could walk back to the door on the left side then.
So here?
Where the device. Yeah, where the device.
Bit of a risky rotation, but it's there. Here's a question for you. What if you took a drop here and rotated all the way over here?
It's yeah, if you definitely want to hit that sort of 4-man nade, that's a good play. You might lose your life for it though.
To who?
Either Widow or Soldier, or I guess.
Are you confident about dueling a Widow in this range?
More so than if she was at a long range.
Right. What about Soldier?
That's more iffy, but it's doable if I hit my nade when he has his
It is doable. Yeah, it's doable. I think I that's something that I would be considering here, because the problem with where you are right now is I feel that this is pretty risky.
Yeah.
Now you can land a nade here, but even then it's easier for the Sigma to block it, right?
Yeah.
This is pretty risky, but at least it feels like you're getting a reward for your risk. You kind of see what I'm saying? Something to consider.
Yeah, I think, as I said, I think when we watch the next VOD, that will be
right.
more
But I do think this is still a good one to look at, because I think definitely. You know, like, knowing what you do in the default will also be useful, right? That's unfortunate. Didn't need to rush that as much. Soldier on the right, help them out, because I can tell you a lot of the way fights are won and lost are what's happened on the periphery, right? What happens on the left, what happens on the right, what happens in the back, to the side, right? Generally, what happens between the Sigma and the D.Va in the front line is not going to be as impactful in terms of who wins or loses the fight. And I know that's opposite from what a lot of people say, but a lot of people are stupid. You helping Varashi hold the right side and win that flank and kill that Lifeweaver, or that, I think it was a Soldier actually, that would have won you that fight. Let's go back to that really fast.
Yeah.
Because you hit the nade on Lifeweaver and Sigma, but they're too far away and you don't have a good position to actually punish it, right? So they just kind of like live, you know? But like, let's look at this here. You see Varashi?
Yeah,
he's doing something, right? He's smoking something, right? So let's watch this. Imagine if you were here. Right? So not just thinking about it from an offensive perspective of, oh, like it's all about you, but also you would have been able to help Varashi win this duel. And then now let's go back and look at what you contributed from this position. Okay, now we start to rotate to the right. We hit a nade. Does force the ult. I'll give you credit to that. That was good. Probably would have happened either way. I don't know. Tough, isn't it? Something to consider.
And I think if I were to play Kiriko in this instance, I would definitely go with the one that's pressuring.
Yes.
So I'm trying to think about that as well, but obviously you can just get out with Kiriko.
Right. With Kiriko, it's more of the lower risk, lower reward on every flank that you take, because you never really get punished for taking those angles. With Ana, you have to be a lot more intelligent about it, right? You have to play your spacing right. You might have to save your cooldowns, play better cover usage. You might have to get more value out of that flank immediately so that you don't die for it, right? There you go. Nice. But keep in mind that Kiriko and Ana are compensated by... The Ana is a little bit more risky, but you get a lot more out of it with the nade. And also with Ana, you have slightly more range, right? You can poke out at a little bit of a greater distance.
Yeah.
Nicely.
I don't know why I decided to go left. I guess I just wanted to avoid the Widow.
Yeah, it might be that you were like, well, I see no benefit to peeking out here. That's fine. But again, you could heal here and then quickly peek for a nade here. And then go back and drop and heal maybe even. I don't know. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, you see, the irony is you're still getting shot by Widow here. Good nade. Good try. He thought he'd strafe. He didn't strafe. He just kind of stood still. Unfortunate nade. Good try though.
I've gotten way better at using my nades offensively. I rarely use them.
I am honestly impressed with the play right now. There's a lot of things that could be better for sure, but there's also a lot of things that you're doing well. You are not a heal bot Andy, right? You were trying to look for opportunities.
Yeah.
And so I respect that a lot. Nope. Move. Let them use the window. You get the value indirectly out of the window. Because that, you know what they're going to do about the window, right? They're going to split, they're going to hide, they're going to, the Sigma's going to walk forward so that you be here and kill this jackass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't be here. You see? Look, what have we done with this window? 1 damage boosted shot on a Sigma that would die anyway. Take an angle, Take a safe angle. And you're going to know what's a safe angle and what a not safe angle is probably 75% of the time. And the 25% that you don't know, for example, that second point example we gave up, that's an opportunity to learn. That's an opportunity to experiment and figure it out. You're respectfully worthless right here.
Mm.
And you're still in a position where a Widow can peek you.
Yes.
Right? Because if you go... Right? Bingo.
Yeah.
So you just got a fat EMP. And... Well, it's a good nade, but even then, too late. And it was fine.
It's OT. Yeah, it was a bit weird, but it's OT, so I guess it's...
Okay, so let's do this. Give me 1 second. I'm going to let the next session run over.
Yeah, because I think we're going to lose on attack, and I don't think the attack is as interesting.
Okay, well, we can move on Busan if you want.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting because now you can. This is QP though, so it's definitely less serious. But in a way, it's also quite clear what I'm trying to do.
Right.
I don't think it's working.
It's a cop QP too, which is good. Because it's like the 2-round thing, It's actually like a competitive game in terms of the round system with King Battle.
Yeah. So the first 2 matches here are relevant, but the last one is we had a lever and everything went to shit.
Okay, so that's fine. We'll skip that one then.
Yeah.
All right, let's see you. Now you're stress testing this, right? So we're going to see a lot of mistakes, but that's okay. Now, first thing I want to know is am I allowed to leave my tank? We're on Sigma, so not as much healing is needed. We're also on Kiriko, who is playing with the Sigma, so are you allowed to leave your tank?
If I'm to widen my angles more and do more pressure, I think so.
Yes, I agree. If you were on, let's say, a Mercy, pocketing a hit scan on a flank, you would need to stay with your Sigma. But when I stay with your Sigma, does that mean that you would play right here or here? No. You might play here, or you might play here. Or you might even peek an angle here, right? So when I say play with your tank, I don't necessarily mean... You just need to be able to heal your tank occasionally, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Because the angle that you're taking now is going to be very difficult for you to do anything to your tank. But you don't need to because you have a Kiriko with him. Just kind of something to consider there. All right?
Yep.
The funny thing here is that... you're trying to stress test here, but even right now, you're a little slow in the nade. This should have happened ages ago. And in addition, instead of just nading and then looking at my Sigma, you should be nading in what?
Just keep looking at the team.
Right, you just nade a nade, right? Nice nade. Get some kills, mate, right? There's no Widowmaker here.
Support reflex just to look
at
everything.
That's okay. Yeah. Return on investment, though, right? Return on investment, right? If I could heal my Sigma, I might have turned to heal my Sigma. But you can't, so stop looking at him. The best thing you can do for your Sigma right now is to get something out of this offensive flank.
Yep.
Now, they're not on Widowmaker as well, so that means that you can peek longer sightlines like this more safely. Zenyatta still will be a problem, but it's doable. Unfortunate, rushed a little bit, right?
Yep.
Now, this is the fun part. This is where we talk about return on investment, okay? Where should your attention be right now?
Are you putting
up I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. Are you putting up pressure right now?
Against their tank, yeah?
Yes, you are. Is this the highest return on investment for pressure right now?
In retrospect, when you can see every angle, it doesn't seem like it is, because now I can hit another nade and do more pressure to their back line.
And not even nade here. You could just be shooting the Sigma who's standing out in the open. And in retrospect is one of the things that we have the advantage of in a replay review, of course. However, in the moment, you need to try and build habits to where if you're not sure what you're doing is the highest return on investment, you need to be kind of looking for it, right? You need to be looking for these squishies. You need to be thinking, surely this Zenyatta is peeking and shooting my Sigma, right? Shoot him, right? And that will keep your Sigma up more than you trying to heal him and or breaking the enemy Sigma shield. Because it's going to force him to rotate back, he's going to turn his attention on you, and congratulations, you just saved your Sigma.
Yep.
Okay, and then especially right now, he's close enough, he's healed, he's safe, turn. Stop healing. Get him, let's go, right?
Instinct, man. It's like it's that habit of just looking at the tank. It's Overwatch 1 habit.
It really is. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. You're aware of it, and it's going to be a habit that's going to be tough to break, but it will be broken, and you're aware of it, and that's the most important thing. Now, the funny thing is you've actually left the angular flank here, but if you'd done a better job actually leveraging where you were, you could have just stayed. You were at very little risk, and you had many opportunities to land impactful things.
I think I'm going on a Giga flank now soon, though.
Now, I'm gonna be a little bit, I don't know if this is a term, maybe it's just an American term. It's smarmy, smirk, a little bit smug.
Yeah.
You have had more pressure put on you and felt more like you were going to die when you rotated back behind your tank.
Yeah, then when I stayed on there.
Yeah, because it's very easy for the enemy team to set up off angles for this position. Because, the enemy team's here, so let's just, take a flank here. But if you go here, then the enemy team has to worry about you, and then they have to worry about your Tracer, but then they also have to worry about your Sigma, and then your Kiriko, and then your Widowmaker in the back line, right? By playing behind your tank, and only behind your tank, you limit safety, right? You allow them to do that. Like, the funny thing is your Tracer was actually protecting you last fight from ever getting flanked. But now that you're behind your tank, who's going to protect you from getting flanked by the Symmetra? Who's going to protect you from getting hit by a right click by the Zenyatta, right? The wall, right? Cover, but I don't know. It's interesting. And also you notice that it's your opportunity to do aggressive value is a lot harder here because they're all hiding from your Sigma, which means that they're also hiding from you. Whereas if you're on an angle, you can still see the Zenyatta. Do you see?
Yeah. He's
hiding from your Sigma, but he can't hide from you at the same time. He has to choose. It's good nade. I would not prioritize the tank all the time with your nades, especially if he's playing a little bit of a further distance. I think squishies are...
I should go for the back line.
Easier kills. Even if they just hide from your nade, that's still really good value for your tank. There you go. Let's go. Go. Yes! Just be careful about how far you peek past the corner, right? You don't benefit at all from being here than you do from being here. You can see the Sigma in spawn, but you're not aiming for the Sigma, right? Nice. A little early shield pressure. See, now, like, you're so far away that, like, you could go whatever you want, right? Nice. Just chuck the nade. Just keep shooting. And now look at it. They're like, we gotta get this on. I got this on. Are you going to die here if you play well?
No, I've already started moving backwards.
No. Zero chance. So all you've done is you've wasted an immense amount of time. Look at this. You baited them. It's all in your master plan.
Watch this kill now.
You're so good at the game. The greatest. Nice job. And if you're a little bit better with your cover usage and you're a little bit faster to rotate, there's even less of a chance of you dying. Because that was a little bit scary. Let's not pretend that it wasn't scary. But if you played that even better, oh my days, even better. Now, okay, let's talk about positioning now. Because this fight feels won, right? Maybe, maybe not. If you're going to rotate here, you either need to have the ego to win this 1v1, or you need to find a different rotation or a different angle. Here's the problem with Ana. You're slow as molasses. So if they put a lot of people on you on a flank and they try to clear you out, as you just saw a few seconds ago, you have to run away. Okay? You just have to.
Yeah.
So if they start to go kill this Ana, what do you do?
I have to rotate pretty early on to be able to get out, or I have to have my cooldowns as a backup.
So you could rotate all the way back over here.
Sleep.
Right?
Yeah, and I almost hit the sleep on the soldier.
You almost did, right?
Definitely.
You almost did. So I think like you're talking about a situation now to where you now are the Widowmaker, where the enemy team really cannot contest you if you keep your distance, and you really only should try to close the distance when you see a huge, huge opportunity. There's really no reason for you to be pushing into these guys. Just being a general nuisance, right? One of the things that Awkward preaches a lot is not being static with your positioning, right? Trying to find the next corner, the next cover, so that it's hard for the enemy team to pin you down. That's a very, very important thing to practice with Ana. And I think here, maybe cover usage could have been better. Maybe you could have hit the sleep dart. Maybe you could have rotated a little bit faster. Maybe you could have rotated to a different angle instead of being static. Maybe a little bit all of the above.
Yeah, but the idea is there.
Yes, and I think you should be very pleased about the last 45 seconds of in-game time, right?
Yeah, you'll be super pleased by my next Giga flank, though. It does lose us the game, but it's...
Now, let me ask you a question. Are you going to win this next fight from your Sigma trade, or are you going to win or lose this fight from your Widowmaker taking this off angle? What's more likely to win or lose you this fight?
Let's see, we did lose our Tracer.
Ignore that for right now. Let's just pretend your Tracer's alive. What's the more impactful fight right now?
Well, I guess still for me that it is the off angle to be able to hit the back line.
If your Widow gets headshot by the Zenyatta here, and you're not here, disaster. Because she has to run away.
Yeah.
Right? But we don't have to worry about that. Because not only are you thinking selfishly here about your nade, your shots, you being here also helps the most important person on the battlefield right now. And it's not just because, oh, it's a Widowmaker, she's always important. I mean, that's kind of true. But like, let's say your like Roadhog was on the flank here, right? Help him, right? Help him. Just because it's a tank or DPS doesn't matter. It's just what one is controlling the angle. That's the more impactful person.
Yeah.
Like right now, that Widow just got shot, but guess what? She can be brave, right? She can be brave.
Yeah.
Right? So this is a mistake. You started off so well. Stay there, right? Because look at what's happening. Right? You would have to run away from this, but you could have maybe slept this, right? You could have made her, assisted her and healed her on the way out, right? Just something to consider. And then now, take an angle, sleep dart. Oh no, we missed. I might have to back out. They're gonna push me out. That's fine. But don't stay here, right? You got your nade again. So hit the nade. Good. Widow's popping off. Nice. Okay. Let's keep watching.
Yeah, and Sigma was alive for some reason. I was like, huh?
Yeah, he's trolling the lobby. Yeah. Let's see it again. Snipey.
Yeah, but now this is interesting because we're going to lose this last fight, and I really think I misplayed in this OT. Look at this flank. This is like super wide, right?
Well, okay. What's the purpose of taking a flank?
It's easier to get access to their back line.
Do you have access to squishies here?
Yes.
Yes. So then do you need a flank?
No,
you don't. You just need to sit right here and just play Kovacs, right? Yeah. So the problem here is that you go for a rotation that doesn't like actually help you at all. It just sit here and shoot. It'd be like the equivalent of like you have the angle here and you're like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna rotate over here and then flank around here. No, just like you're good, mate. Just stay there, right? You had a great position, and the problem here is that obviously it's a little too far away. You're a little too accessible, and then that Moira, honestly, like the Moira living is your fault. The Tracer living is your fault. There were too many shots that you should have been able to hit. Now, am I gonna tell you that you trolled the lobby this fight? Yes, because that's my job. No, but I think you played okay. You got good offensive value. It just could have been better. Right? It just could have been better. That's all. All right. Any questions so far? We can keep going. We got time. You want to go for over a few more fights?
Much time as you got. This map we did win, and I think it's the same mentality of definitely applying as much pressure as possible.
Yes. Now, we've seen issues with that when they were on Widowmaker, where you had to kind of try and take an angle or pressure where the Widowmaker didn't have a sightline. We saw a little bit that last fight where you had to be careful if they rotated after you. Now, this fight, there are going to be people that tell you cannot play by yourself versus a Wrecking Ball. They will kill you. I am not going to be one of those people. Do take an angle, but try to take an angle where your team can at least see you. So if the ball tries to isolate you, you can sleep him and he will get punished and you can get peeling as necessary. Does that kind of make sense?
Yes.
Now, I will show you exactly what that means once we actually get out of the show. Surely. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Very nice. Because the thing is like a ball very far away from you is not a threat at all. You could shoot him and shoot him and shoot him and shoot him, and then he tries to slam you, but you seen it coming and you hit a sleep dart. Yes. Now, if ball isolates you here, this is perfect, exactly what we're looking for, okay? If ball isolates you here and engages on you, are you going to see him coming?
Yes.
Yes. So what does that mean?
I should keep my cooldowns.
You should keep, well, yes, but also you're going to be able to hit the cooldowns, right? You're going to be able to, theoretically, right? In addition, can you help your team and shoot squishies from here?
Yes.
Can your teammates help you if you deal with the ball or the ball tries to isolate you?
Well, the Kiriko can TP at least.
Theoretically, so right? It's tough, but it's doable. It's doable. Yep. This is a good play. I would be careful about that sleep dart.
Yeah.
Because you're now in a situation where, rolling the dice on a very low percentage, low return on investment sleep dart might just be better to sit on the sleep dart, and the sleep dart will allow you to play bravely and not worry about ball. But if you use your sleep dart, now you might either die or you might have to play cowardly. I don't want you to play cowardly.
That is also the mentality of Awkward, though, that I take as wide as an angle as I can to apply pressure, but also that I use my cooldowns on cooldown as much as possible.
Right, and I disagree with him on that point. I think the idea is that you should try to get as much... I will say this. The reason why he says that is that he wants people to limit test. If you use your sleep dart off of cooldown, you're going to get better at it mechanically, and you're going to understand when you shouldn't have used it, right? Right, instead of just saving it all the time. I think his advice has a very specific reason for it. But now that we're in a voice call together, we can talk about the nuance of that, where in situations where you want to save your sleep dart, save it, right?
Yeah.
But if you're playing into a double sniper mirror and there's nothing to sleep and you're never going to be taking aggressive positions, use it, right? Remember on second point defense on Havana?
Yeah.
I wanted you to go in that far right flank.
Yes.
Should you save your sleep dart there or use it? Tricky, isn't it?
Depends on depends on what's going to attack me.
Right.
But I would still look for an opportunity to use it if it has like the return of investment stuff.
Right. And if you think you're safe, you would use it. But the idea would be that you take a very aggressive angle into the double snipers and sit on your sleep dart sometimes, saying, "Come on, try and punish me. I dare you." Right. Yeah. That's kind of the idea. And honestly, that's the same idea here. The ball sees, oh, it isolated Ana. I mean, what is he going to do? Is he going to ignore you? He can't ignore you. But yet, look what happens when he tries to punish you for being isolated. Right? He sleeps, nothing happens, he has to roll away. And then now we're right back to shooting again. Good use of cover. Nade doesn't quite hit, but the idea is there. Yep. You're good. Yeah. You're good. Just need a little bit more practice with cover. I mean, you had the cover, you just peeked a little slow, right?
Yeah, this is also the limit test. Like
the thing is what you're doing right now, in principle, is what Ultraviolet from the Overwatch League would do in Honor. You're just not very good at it just yet. But if you keep doing this, you will get good at it. I don't want you to change your playstyle because your mechanics or your game sense isn't good enough. I want you to dress up like Ultraviolet until you can be Ultraviolet. Because the reason why you do that is it's going to make you Ultraviolet faster than playing passively, right? Yeah. That, me and Awkward are 100% on the same page with that one.
Yeah.
Good nano your Tracer. She's in an aggressive position. Use it as soon as you can. And by the way, your Sleep Dart mechanics are pretty darn good too. You could even nano your... Yeah, honestly, this is fine. I love nanoing people who are engaged, right? I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a Lucio. If they're engaged, I nano.
I think I have a nice play here, if I can remember correctly.
A little bit scary that you've dropped. It's also a little bit scary that you use your Sleep Dart across the map on like a low percentage return on investment, right? Now that exposes you to the Wrecking Ball. Whereas if you'd not used your Sleep Dart, you probably could have just egoed here and just dared him to come after you.
Yeah.
That's one of the circumstances where I feel like you dropped. Maybe you didn't know it in the moment, but you kind of needed to drop because you didn't have Sleep Dart. Here, do you think you're going to get punished for not having your Sleep Dart?
Not right now.
No chance. Look at his position, right?
Yeah.
And then even here, if you wanted to rotate to here or here, you can. Help your Tracer out with a duel, right? Because again, it's not just about selfish, right? It's also, hey, there's somebody else in the flank. I can help them too.
Yeah.
And you start to do it, and you see Tracer, but then you're like, oh, it's more important right now that you help your Tracer on the duel than you do anything here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Same kind of question that we had with the Widowmaker. If your Tracer, that heal on your Tracer is a fight winner right there.
Yeah.
That brilliant nade forces Suzu. And despite feeling like you guys were, I mean, you guys did get curbed, you guys got turbo stomped in the core trade, you actually lived long enough to where this fight is actually still reasonably very winnable. Oh, unfortunate. Okay. It was winnable.
I think it's the next play that I'm pretty satisfied with.
Okay. Okay. This is
depending, though, I'm obviously open to criticism.
Well, I don't know if it's perfect. I might not even criticize here. Good nade on the jump.
Not this fight though. Next one, but yeah, this is also fine, I guess.
Okay. Well, I want to see this. I want to see this legendary engagement here. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
The Summer's gonna pressure me. I'm gonna try to just heal myself.
Can I be honest? Why did you drop?
I still thought the Summer was a threat.
She's not a threat when you have the cooldowns, and if you have cover, and a mini health pack too. You need to be able to beat a Summer in a 1v1. If you have cover and your cooldowns, fight her. Like, if you hit this nade here, and don't nade yourself, nade her and yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you know this, but, like, that needs to be your mentality. She's gone. Yeah. Why are you dropping? You even kept your Sleep Dart. Alright, let's see it. I'm ready for it.
Well, you know, it started off not as legendary as I would hope, but
that's okay.
I managed to stay alive here for.
Yeah, well, it's a good cover usage, right? Like they don't even know that you're there, right? They don't even see you. Out of sight, out of mind, right? Right? Nice healing, nice nade. Yeah, I mean you did so much this fight. Nice, good shot in the Tracer. I like the priority in keeping the squishies alive. Now go back to damage. Nice. That was good. That was really good. Really good. It's fun playing on like this, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's good. It's good. It's the best way to play the hero, right? Min-maxing your pressure, whether it's keeping people alive, like a shot on a Tracer, or a shot on a tank, or putting up pressure yourself. Do you have any questions?
Only that I would like to have some sort of take-home message that I could apply.
Yes.
Because I've gotten a lot of compliments, and that's nice, but I also want something like substantial that I can
Sure. Okay, so you tell me, what were some of the main takeaways? What were some of the skills and habits that you need to improve at just a little bit? You need to put some emphasis and practice into.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to narrow my hero pool a bit,
okay.
like in the general sense. I'm going to keep on applying sight lines, or like at least take angles to apply more pressure and use the sight lines, and especially help out people that want to be aggressive. I want to use my cooldowns, but not, I guess, limit test, but then tone it down at least so they get max value.
Well, let's put it this way. Limit test cooldowns, but ask yourself, do I need X cooldown
for this hero?
For a situation, right?
Yeah.
Because I think Awkward chastises people for saving Sleep Dart for Tracer, But for me, it's more about like I want to have sleep dart because I want to kill the tracer. I want to go out of my way to try and look for the tracer with my sleep dart. You know, it's not like I'm playing passively because I'm scared I'm going to die. It's like, let's take an aggressive angle, dare the tracer to come after me, and then I'm a sleeper. It's the same thing with the Sombra, right? That it's more about enabling the aggression than it is about being a sissy about it. Okay, what else?
What else?
Yes, anything else that stood out to your mind?
That I need to. Aim is just like the obvious all the time, every time. So I'm not going to comment on aim too much.
Of course. I think it was okay with you as well. I don't think it was your weakest point.
No, it's fine, and I'm happy with my nade usage for the most part, and I was able to stay alive for at least Havana. I didn't die on at all, which is nice, I guess. But I don't know. I stopped riding at some point. Here, but, anything you can give me.
Here's one that we saw. All right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just return on investment. It's not the fact that healing people is bad. It's the fact that healing people who are only missing a teeny bit of HP, it doesn't really affect their ability to output pressure. So you should be focusing on where you could get higher return on investment. Even to the point to where healing a tank who is missing 200 HP, but if your tracer is missing 75, you should heal your tracer, right? That's the idea. Okay. Those are the big ones for me. Now, we could also throw in a couple of little ones like, cover usage is always good, and take a little extra time with your nades. Nano aggression, right, is always a good way of doing it, even if that's a Sombra Sigma, it doesn't matter. But I think the first 4 points for you, and you know what, actually, consistency with playtime as well. Trying to find some sort of consistency with that as much as possible. Definitely your highest return on investment. Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any other questions?
I don't think I'm going to rewatch the VOD later when you post it.
Yep.
And I'm going to keep on watching your other VODs and maybe try to VOD review myself a bit more, because having looked at my games before talking to you today was definitely sort of an eye opener. So
Good. I'm glad to hear it.